So let's talk about Deiveson Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. So I've actually had to edit this bit in because when I was talking about it previously, my mic disconnected. So I was quite proud and happy with what I said prior. Anyway, so let's try and recapture that magic, shall we? So look, Deiveson Figueiredo against Brandon Moreno. So I picked Figueiredo in the lead up to this. Because I felt like Figueiredo underestimated Brandon Moreno the first time they fought. And I felt like Brandon Moreno was confident going into this fight. But I felt like he was confident because he fought a below par Deiveson Figueiredo. And I felt like Deiveson Figueiredo would come into this fight and show his true levels, and that would be too much for Brandon Moreno. That was kind of my thought process when I made my prediction. Now, going into the fight, I did also say that it'd be interesting to see how Figgy does the weight cut, because we all know that is something that he struggles with, right? And it became pretty apparent to me personally that he was struggling this time around, because during the pre-fight press conference, it felt like he was quite drawn out, low on energy, sunglasses on, face looked gaunt, and it looked like he kind of had a dry mouth, you know? And it kind of reminded me of the back in the day press conferences for events going back 5, 6, 7 years ago, where guys just didn't have the knowledge and technology and the nutrition and all of that stuff that they do now, where they really struggled with weight cuts. And you'd often see fighters just looking low on energy and things like that in press conferences. It's not something that you see a lot, or fighters are able to hide it better, I don't know, but you just don't see a lot of it so much these days. And seeing Figueiredo in that way during the press conference, where I thought, is he struggling here? And then obviously during the weigh-ins, he comes in, you know, in the last minute pretty much to make championship weight. I was kind of sat there in kind of two minds thinking, is this going to have an effect on him? Is it going to play a part in the fight, like if it goes on to the 4th and 5th round? Or is this just Figgy doing Figgy things? Because we've seen him struggle to make weight in the past, and he's come in and looked $1 million in the fight, right? So that was kind of what I was thinking come Saturday morning when I was thinking about this fight. Looking at Moreno, he just looked very confident, and I don't know whether it's just me personally. Like not even me. I feel like a lot of people that follow the sport, when Figgy done what he done to how have I forgotten his name? Benavidez. Like when Figgy done what he done to Benavidez over those 2 fights, like it felt like, okay, this is the new guy. This is a guy that's going to be the 125-pound champion for a long time. And even though the first fight that they had 6 months ago was very close, it was a very competitive fight, like I say, I didn't feel like that was the best version of Figgy. So Moreno, the way he was carrying himself before the fight in the press conference, in kind of watching Embedded and the Countdown show and the stuff that he was saying, etc., I felt like he was living in this false sense of security. And I felt that that would come back to haunt him in the fight. When the fight started, it all made sense what Moreno was saying and the way he was behaving, because he fought exactly like he was projecting prior to the fight, you know? And what kind of surprised me, one thing that I kind of took away from this fight is the first time they fought, Figgy was jabbing Moreno's head off. And it was the complete opposite this time around. Moreno was jabbing. And another takeaway from the fight is prior, I can't remember whether it was in Countdown or Embedded, Figgy's jiu-jitsu coach was basically saying that Figgy's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's kind of neglected that because he's fallen more in love with his hands. And like, I want him to use his jiu-jitsu skills in this fight. And that's how the fight ended. It ended with Moreno taking down a Brazilian and taking his back and submitting him in the third round. This is literally a punch-perfect performance by Moreno. And it surprised me, man. It shocked me. And this is why we love the sport, you know? Because this is a true kind of underdog story. A guy that was a UFC fighter, got cut, went away. I don't even know where he went or what organization he fought in or how long he was gone for. Let's have a look. So he fought in the UFC and then he went off to LFA. He only had one fight in LFA. So, I mean, it's not like he was gone for ages. And then he came back and fought Askarov, who he had a draw with, who they're kind of slating as a potential first defense for Moreno. But yeah, got cut, came back, and the rest, as they say, is history, man. Like, he really did have the crowd behind him, and it wasn't heavy on his shoulders. I was very just surprised with the confidence he fought with, especially with an opponent like Figgy, who asserts his dominance in the octagon. Like, that's one of his strengths. Like, from the offset, when he fights, he shows he's the dominant one in there. And Moreno didn't let him do that. Moreno did not let him do that. Now, I'm tempted to say Figgy looked a bit flat-footed. He didn't really look his normal self. But I'm not going to say that, because I feel like the reason he looked like that is Moreno and not himself. Now, if Figgy fights again at flyweight and struggles to make weight and looks like he looked in this fight against a different opponent and struggles, then obviously it's something that's then a pattern, isn't it? So then it's kind of like, well, hold on, actually, maybe he does need to go and move up to 135 pounds, because now it's just becoming too difficult for him to get down to 125 pounds. But for now, I'm gonna ignore the temptation to think that, because I feel like Moreno deserves the credit for his own performance. And I'm gonna sit here and say that was the best version of Figgy, because that's what Figgy said it was going into the fight. He told us that this is the best version of me. I'm not injured, because he said he was injured going into the first fight. And yeah, Moreno, the underdog, got it done. And he didn't just get it done, it was emphatic, because he won the first 2 rounds before he managed to submit him in the third. And I can't ever remember a point where Figgy landed when I say a significant enough strike to hurt Moreno. And when it did go to the ground, Moreno was the dominant fighter there. Maybe it's just Moreno's time. It's funny because, now all of a sudden, it's the first Mexican champion, when Cain Velasquez was marketed as that when he was a champion. But I suppose Moreno is the first Mexican-born champion. Found it funny when, Cain Velasquez was always just marketed as a Mexican champion to try and draw that market. But yeah, that's nothing to do with what I'm talking about here. So Moreno wins. He deserves all the adulation. He deserves all the credit that he's getting at the moment, because he proved a lot of people wrong, myself included. Now I'm going to have to try and work out how to edit this, because I've had to record this separately from the first portion of the video. So I'm going to go away and do that. Maybe use the Adobe licensing that I pay £20 a month for, that I've never used. Maybe I'll just do it that way, eh? But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Put your comments below. Don't be scared to hit the like button. Share this with a friend if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll catch you guys next time.